Hello, welcome to Bluejay Chat. I'm your host, Nathan Lemire. Alongside me, as always, Dr. John Sample. And John, we got a brand new guest who is also a doctor.
We do. Dr. Dawn Nunn is coming to us from Maple Grove, and she is the teaching principal. So she wears two hats. She's not only teaching special education, but she's also the administrator in charge of the building. So welcome, Dawn.
Thank you. Glad to be with.
Welcome, Dawn. And John, we're going to get right into it with our board recognitions. Obviously, it's a big deal, and there's obviously a lot of people who do a lot of things behind the scenes.
They certainly do. We've got a lot of people to recognize. In fact, the way our entire district, every single person, student, staff member have responded to COVID still continues to amaze me, and I wish we could recognize absolutely everybody. It's been unprecedented, and our response has been phenomenal. Last night, we specifically recognized the Voice of Democracy winners. That's the Voice of Democracy and the Patriots Pen winners are coming out of a contest from our local VFW. And so one is an essay competition for our middle school students. And this year's theme on the essay was, "What is patriotism to me?" And so we recognized last night Maria Melanowski, who took 5th place. Robin Schmidt took 6th place, and Blake Went took 10th place. And so very, very proud of our students with the essay contest. And then for our high school students, they have an audio essay contest, Voice of Democracy. And their theme this year was, "Is this the country the founders envisioned?" So congratulations to Jackson DeJong, who took 2nd place. Caleb Norton took 3rd place. Caitlin Krug took 4th place. And Nicole Zellner took 5th place. Matt Palazzo took 6th place, and Claire Dooley took 7th place. So we had a great representation from our students. Really, they did a great job with patriotism and the VFW are alive and well in our community, and so that was very great to see. Also, we recognized our swim state qualifiers and the school records that were broken for the Merrill girls swim team. And you know, most districts recognize people that are student athletes that break records, but it's tough to break a record with our swim team because they've set the bar very high. So last night we recognized Amber Winter. We also recognized Aaron Konitz. That's a very familiar name to our swim team. And then we recognized the relay team of Aaron Konitz, Lainey Zulsdorf, Emma Potish, and Amber Winter again. So congratulations to all the ladies. And then we also had an opportunity to recognize our staff. Karen Buntrock is a phenomenal teacher. She's forming long-lasting relationships with our students, and she has just really stepped up in a multi-age setting of 4th and 5th grade classroom. And then Nanette Candler has very high expectations for our students, very passionate about her reading instruction, and the students really gravitate towards her, and they're looking to do well and succeed in her presence. And then finally, we recognize Tom Grun. We have 2 Tom Gruns in the district, so that can be a bit confusing. We have one at Jefferson, but last night we recognized Tom Grun from Kate Goodrich Elementary School. He's our head custodian, and he's more than the head custodian to that building. He really participates in the culture and climate, and you'll see Tom Grun oftentimes interacting with our students as he is a go-to person there. And so we really want to thank Karen Buntrock, Nanette Candler, and Tom Grun for going above and beyond during this exceptionally difficult time.
Yeah, and obviously everyone is important here in the district, especially our staff. Everyone has done an absolutely amazing job, and you're exactly right. That Konitz group, I don't know what it is with breaking swim records, but they just they don't know how to stop doing that.
Yeah, I think the saddest time for the Konitz family is when the lakes and rivers freeze, because then they can't swim.
Yeah, I really think that's probably it. But so, all right, so we're going to get into Maple Grove. Obviously, it's one of our, it's been a hot topic over a year. We're not going to get into all that, obviously. but we're going to celebrate Maple Grove because it is such a phenomenal school, John, right?
Absolutely, it is. It's got a rich tradition, rich history. Don and the teachers and all of the staff at Maple Grove do a fantastic job. I wish that they weren't as far away, but you know what? That also lends itself to a special environment. And so all of the staff out there become like a family, really, and they work very well together. Phenomenal things going on every day.
Yep. And Don, just at what is it like now? Because obviously I've been in that building before, and obviously I was in a few days ago, and it felt even different from how do I want to say it felt different from the last time I was in there for more than 10 minutes. But like, how has it been this school year with COVID? I know everyone's reacting differently to it, but how are your kids, and how is that whole building even just reacting to it?
Well, you kind of alluded to it. We really are a family out here, and it's not just the staff. We are further out. It takes 20 minutes to have anybody get to us. So we do really rely on one another to make it work. And, COVID, without a doubt, presented quite a few challenges. And, as we were preparing for the school year, we were really trying to think, how do we make it work in such a small building? Not only are we small student-wise, but really the building itself is small. We have one hallway. So we really had to be thoughtful about what to put in place to make it all work. And so at the beginning of the year, I actually spoke with the governance board about what it would take for us to remain open as a building. And I made it pretty clear that even with exemptions for masks, really everybody would have to wear a mask in any of the public spaces of the building because we don't have 6 feet in our hallway. So we knew that was going to present some challenges. We really had to be dependent on our parents to be supportive of the health measures that were in place. So if their child was feeling ill, had any symptoms, that they needed to really help us out by being proactive in whether they send their child or not. And I have to say that, by establishing those really strong expectations at the beginning of the year and getting it out to families and giving them the reason why we wanted to make sure. We just had our first COVID positive case that was in the building this past week. But otherwise, and it wasn't someone that was with kids, so we've had no classes quarantined. We have not been shut down. We've been open every single day since September 1st. So that's a true testament to not only the safety measures that we put in place to start the year, but also our continuing measures that we keep in place. Our students are great at wearing masks. My sister-in-law and another community member made masks so that every single student had a mask in addition to the ones from the district. Because I'll tell you what, 4 months of wearing a mask, they get pretty dirty when you're an elementary student. So we have plenty of masks. We make sure that they always have access to masks. We've made them fun looking so that they're excited to wear them. We have plenty of mask breaks, and we are fortunate. We have 2 playgrounds. We've got 20 acres to enjoy. So the warmer weather really allowed us to be outdoors for some of our classes, and also to make sure that we had plenty of mask breaks as needed to make sure that children felt comfortable wearing them. So at this point now, it's pretty second nature. We have not had a single behavioral issue regarding masks. We just don't have behavioral issues to begin with. But really, there's just been no qualms about the expectations. And we're thankful that the people who do have to visit our building are also really respective of the fact that the mask has to be mandated in the public spaces just due to the size. So, not to talk forever about masks, but really, that's why we're open. That's why we've been able to kind of maintain a lot of our normalcy, if you will, and keep things running so that our children are getting their best education that they can. So we're pretty proud of the work of not only our staff and our students, but also our families, because they've done a fantastic job of keeping their kids home if they have any of the symptoms, to kind of just mitigate any possibilities of bringing it to the building. So we're pretty fortunate that way, and I'm very grateful for their help.
You know, and
Right.
early on, we thought that masks were going to be an issue as we were planning for the school year. And I know all the administrators were talking about it, and we didn't want it to be a dress code violation, especially at our older grades. And I would hate to take it all the way through the disciplinary measures of potentially expelling a student for repeated refusal with a dress code violation. But you know what? That wasn't the case at all. We were all pleasantly surprised. Everybody's doing exactly what they need to do. And we've said it before, almost to a point of becoming our new normal. But I think what's going to happen, and I won't go as far as some people have said that they're kind of glad that COVID happened because, now we've got different sets of expectations. But I am grateful that to see how we've responded. And I think we're going to be much, much stronger moving forward once, COVID's not going to go on forever, but certain practices certainly will. We're leaning on our technology. I think we're going to be very thankful whenever it happens that we're not having to wear masks. And, board meetings are probably the time that I'm reminded about how resilient our staff and our students are, because that's probably the longest time I have to wear a mask, about 3 hours. That's nothing compared to everybody else's average day.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was reminded last night, it's like, oh my gosh, I've got this mask, and I hear that teachers are not taking in enough water throughout the day, and because of masks and those things. And I certainly understand it because I get a small dose of it, but our teachers and our students are plugging along every single day under those circumstances. And so I have the utmost respect for everybody.
Yeah, I know I'm also fortunate of being able to not have to wear my mask here in my office and the studio because we don't have students in here all the time. We have them for an hour. And it's fortunate, but it's the adaptability, John, I think is the best way to put it for our students and staff. The adaptability of them to just hit the ground running September 1 with what is put in front of them. Because I think a lot of them looked and said, we don't want to go back to what we had last spring. That was obviously difficult, and it was definitely different. And speaking of different, John, we're going to skip off of Maple Grove for just a little bit because I want to end on a high note with Maple Grove. But there's some reconfiguration of the school district that you and I have talked about for a little bit. I don't think we've gone into great detail on it because it really wasn't, how do I put it? It wasn't official at the time we were kind of talking about it on this show, but now it's official. This is what's happening, and some people that aren't parents still don't know about it. So let's update them on what's going on, John.
Sure, and this has to happen in a sequential order, the timing of events as we prepare for next year. And so the board did take action to reconfigure the district, and that is closing one of our buildings. And so Jefferson Elementary for the 21-22 school year will not have students, will not have elementary students in it. We're still talking too about how we can repurpose that building. But what that does for the rest of our in-town elementaries is that Kate Goodrich will have students kindergarten through second grade for next year. Washington will have third and fourth grade students. And then the fifth grade will be at the middle school. So the middle school will be fifth through eighth grade. The high school remains untouched at this point. They're still a 9 through 12 building. That allows us a lot of opportunities for our students in which to provide focused professional development. When you've got curriculums that are naturally separated between kindergarten and second grade, and then third and fourth grade, and then you've got the fifth and eighth graders together. I'm real excited for our students and the education and the opportunities that they're going to have. It also streamlines our transportation to where, we're a declining enrollment district, and so we need to be fiscally responsible. There's no more question next year as to which building will I be attending. If you're in kindergarten, you're at this building. If you're in third grade, you're at this building. And so I think it's going to bring our students together in a way unlike ever before when we had our 3 in-town elementaries were all K-5s. So yeah, K2 at Kate, third through fourth grade at Washington, and fifth through eighth grade at the middle school. Real excited for that. And of course, there's an awful lot of planning that goes into that. And so that's what we've been working real hard on. Right now, what we're doing is the board's made the decision to repurpose Jefferson, or not to repurpose it, but the board has actually made the decision that elementary school students will not be attending that building. We're still in discussions about how we can repurpose that, and that will be taking some time. We don't have to come up with a plan as to what we're going to do with Jefferson in September. What we do have to do is figure out our staffing and our curriculums and everything, and getting the moving happening, because September 1 is going to come before we know it. And we're going to have all of our kindergartners through second graders at one building, third and fourth at another, fifth through eighth at another. And so we need to make sure that we're ready for them.
Right, and obviously we're not the first district to do something along these lines. Tomahawk, Mosinee, I know they have building specific, or even sections of a building specific to grades, because I believe Tomahawk is all one building, if I'm not mistaken, John.
Correct. And while we're not ready to go to that model yet, it's a great model. It really is. There's the buses know where they need to go. Everything is all under one building, and it allows for some fiscal efficiencies as well as as we address student achievement. Everybody is under one roof in Tomahawk. DC Everest has something very similar. They've got 4 transitions built into their program, and that's not counting what happens to students before kindergarten. So yeah, it's not different at all. And unfortunately, all school districts have to take a look at how they're going to reconfigure. And that's especially true of us with declining enrollment.
Right, and obviously we don't see declining enrollment going away anytime soon at this time. Just how it is, so we got to roll with the punches, and unfortunately we can't. I mean, there were 5 or 6 elementary schools open when I was going to elementary school, so think of the difference now, where we're going to be down to 2, and I'm only 28 years old. That doesn't, it's not like I'm, way back in my day.
Sure.
We've changed as a district in just a short amount of time already, and it's just, we have to keep changing.
Yeah, absolutely. It's very comparable to any household budget too. If you're talking about a young family that may have 4, 5, 6 kids in the family, and you've got a bigger house, and so as your kids begin to leave and go off on their own, pretty soon you've got the husband and the wife, and they've got the big house. And why do we have all of these rooms now that aren't being used? And so it's going to be repurposing, and to be fiscally responsible, the building that I'm currently sitting in at central office, and then the maintenance building, and then what was known as Kids Kingdom next door. These buildings take a lot of money, with the utilities and the heat, and we're looking at a couple of new roofs here in the future if we don't make the best decisions moving forward. And so that's part of our talk into repurposing Jefferson. The community out there, the neighborhood does not want that to be sold, and does not want it to see it run down. And so we're going to pay respects to that building by utilizing that building. It's a wonderful structure, and moving some things around. So real excited about the possibilities. Like I say, that doesn't have to be decided by September 1. But it would be nice to have a decent boardroom, for our board meetings. It'd be nice to have some professional development taking place in a room or a facility that's set up for professional development, and then to bring more people together that have to work together day in and day out, and so we can all be in one proximity. So there's just a lot of exciting talk, with what we can do for the future. And of course, the other part too is we're looking at a staff reduction as well. And hopefully that will be taken care of through attrition. We always have anywhere from 6 to 10 people either resigning and mostly retiring from the district as they finish their careers. And so, we'll be working on staffing as in the coming months to make sure that we're ready to go in September.
Right. All right, John, I think we're going to move on a little bit here. I'll give you your one question quick, and then we'll end, and then we'll wrap it up with some exciting news coming out of Maple Grove.
That sounds great. And I don't think most people know that Dawn and I actually have a lot in common. I don't curl, but
you could though.
She can talk about that. But I did go to an event at the curling club in Wausau, and what a fantastic venue that is.
Yeah.
My friend and I almost got asked to leave because we brought out the ice auger and everything. We were going to go ice fishing there at the curling club. And before we could even get the ice auger started, no, they stopped us. And so we put it in the truck and decided we're not going to ice fish. But no, Northern Arizona University. Don and I have both spent some time there, all the way in Arizona, and so that was kind of cool as we talked about our memories there. And then we also have we received our doctorate. We earned our doctorate degree at Edgewood College, and so we have that in common as well. I mean, our diplomas look almost identical with just a name change and a date change. And so, like I say, I'm not into curling, but when your part of your roots go all the way back to Northern Arizona, there's certainly a lot to be said for that. So she's a lumberjack at heart. So my question really, Don, for you is I know of some of your activities. What are your other activities, and what's coming up for you in the very near future? I'm excited to understand what your aspirations are and what you're looking forward to.
Yeah, it's been kind of a little bit of a downer not getting to curl this year. To be honest, that is actually one of my long-term goals, is to win a gold medal at Women's Senior Worlds. I'm a pretty competitive athlete, and so between swimming and curling, those are my two big things, other than just being out hiking, and Merrill is such a perfect place to be outdoors. But I'm actually really excited. It's sad for my school and the community, but I will be retiring at the end of this year. And I don't see my servitude changing any in terms of, I've been working with children for 40 years now, so 31 years in the public school system. So I'm ready to change venues a little bit, but I don't see that changing in terms of how I go about helping people and looking at systemic change and how we can always make things better going forward. I have a saying, always strive for your highest and best, and that's something that's, really holds true to me. So I know I'll take a little time off to do some playing around the house and playing in my shop. I've got a new shop to pop around in. But after that, then I'm going to start looking for ways to get back involved and doing things. So, yeah, so that's kind of an exciting piece for me. Getting back to Arizona is definitely one of them. I went to high school in Tucson, so we do have those Arizona roots, and it's a beautiful state to go visit. I'm just glad to live somewhere where water isn't in short supply. But yeah, so that's kind of what my big news is, kind of going forward from now: curling, swimming, getting outdoors, and relaxing for a bit, I guess.
Yeah, very cool. And I know that I've got a neighbor who works for a paving company. So in the summer, I know what he's doing, and then in the winter, he plows snow. So really, you've got the best of both worlds too. If things freeze up, not that, I saw the Wausau Curling Club, they've got ice year round, but yeah, you've got the best of both worlds between snow and ice, and then swimming. So yeah, that's perfect. And we'll have to do Mexican food. We'll compare which Mexican food restaurant is the best between Glendale and Tucson, and yeah, we'll have to try those out.
True. Although I still have to get to the new one on 107, Tres Amigos, I think it's called, but I haven't been out there yet. But I do like coming around this area too, because, we have a lot of Latino families that have moved into the area, and it's a chance for them to share their culture. And you can't go wrong with Mexican food at all.
Yeah, and you got my stomach growling because I'm actually going to go to lunch there today at Casa Amigos. It's fantastic. I'm glad to see the Southwest coming to Merrill.
You bet. Although I don't know if it'll match my bacon wrapped jalapeno stuffed deliciousness, but never know.
Yeah. No, and I would agree, because I've had those and they are phenomenal. So that's another thing that Don excels at as well.
Thank you.
Well, awesome. And it's great to get to know you a little bit more, Don. And one thing that I know you're extremely excited for, and Merrill Productions got to come out there, what was it, Tuesday?
Tuesday.
And film their holiday concert, which will be premiering next Tuesday live on YouTube. Don, tell us a little bit about what goes into the Maple Grove? Because Maple Grove's got a very good tradition for holiday concerts.
Yeah, when I first started, we did the holiday concert in the gym, and it's a strong tradition. Maple Grove has a lot of traditions. We've been around since 1904, serving the Hamburg and Merrill communities, and it's just been something that's important to the community, is to keep those pieces alive. It's similar to before technology was everywhere. It was a chance for the community to come together, to catch up and get to know one another. So COVID has really put a bit of a damper on some of our big ones. Our pancake breakfast was canceled last year. Our chili supper and chili cook-off was canceled for this year. And so, it was one of those things where thinking about the holidays and thinking, boy, one more thing we might have to cancel. How can we make this work? How can this happen? And so I talked with Tiffany Bluejay, our extraordinary music teacher, just a wonderful person to work with. And I did push her a little bit out of her comfort zone. I was like, well, how about if we do this? And I suggested, let's do it in the gym. We can socially distance. We can break them off into grade level pairs. But let's find a way to make this work, because the restrictions of this virus have really had a huge impact. And so we're just not able to do what we're normally used to doing. So we really wanted to be able to have that opportunity to have some normalcy, if you will. So Tiffany was a real sport about it, and she put together a phenomenal concert. The kids worked hard. They had it on their iPad so that if we did go virtual, we would have the opportunity to still make it work. That would have been a pretty creative Zoom call, would be my guess.
Yeah, that definitely would have been.
But at any rate, we let families know that we were going to do the taping, and we were able to make this a reality. And so the kids came dressed up. They had, special little outfits. Families are super excited about this. So I'm just so happy that we can offer a little glimpse of what's typical in a Maple Grove year, and to be able to offer families a chance to kind of get together. And what's really neat about this and having that YouTube presence is that, I had one of the children at lunch say, so do you mean that my uncle that's in Germany right now can watch? It's like, yes, having that family premiere, we packed the house at the high school. For being a pretty small school, we really have a lot of the community and families that show up because they want to, have that fellowship, if you will. And so, just being able to have families hop on FaceTime together and watch it together, and to be able to still have that chance to see their children doing something in school. It's hard on parents not being able to visit the schools. I have parents asking if I can do virtual tours of the school. And if my schedule wasn't so busy, I'd certainly be doing it regularly. But, this will at least offer them that opportunity to see what their children are doing and have been working on, a chance to sing along with them. So we're just really excited to be able to offer this opportunity to families. And I know that the other schools didn't have this luxury. There were so many bumps, if you will, that prevented them from being able to put this together. So I really hope that even, ours, that families in Merrill who are just wanting that community will hop on and check out the YouTube video and have a chance to see Merrill kids doing the Merrill holiday celebration and have that chance to feel like things are maybe on their way to being more normal for us.
And obviously with Christmas next week, John, it's so weird not having all these different holiday concerts from our elementary schools. Just to see one, even in a virtual setting, it is absolutely fantastic. And I enjoyed coming out there with my crew and my coworkers to just help put on this excellent show.
Yeah, and I have to change my way of thinking too, because it was just a couple of weeks ago I was kind of reflecting on the Christmas concerts that are not happening, and we can get stuck in that mode of thinking of all the things that we miss. I know that Kim and I, we sometimes travel at Christmas, and so this Christmas we're going to be traveling, and I'm taking a couple of days off. So even Don, when you said about next Tuesday, and I'm like, oh, I'm going to have to miss it, but no, I'm not. I'm going to be in a warmer climate, and I'm still going to get to experience the Maple Grove Christmas concert, which is fantastic. So it seems like no matter where we go, all of us, we at least take an iPad with us, and so we'll be able to watch the Christmas concert from a much warmer climate and be able to enjoy it. And we haven't missed out on a thing, because it's great to see our students show off their talent.
Yes, I agree.
Right. So, John, I think that's it. We're at the end of the school, well, not the end of the school year. We're at the end of the calendar year. 2020 is almost up.
Thank goodness.
So 2021, though, January, I believe it's the 16th, or no, 28th. Sorry, excuse me. 28th is our next Bluejay Chat recording with Karen Baker. And obviously we've had Karen on before, so no need for introductions. She filled in some pretty big shoes. Just a reminder for everyone, Maple Grove Holiday Concert is 6:30, or am I correct, Don, with that? 6:30?
30 p.m. on Tuesday.
Yeah, 6:30 p.m. on Tuesday, December 22nd. So please be sure to tune in. And if you can't tune in for the premiere, you could still catch it on our YouTube channel, Merrill Area Public Schools YouTube. John, anything else we got to do before we get out of here?
No, I don't think so. Except what we typically do is, and it's very well deserved, is just to thank everybody for their response to COVID, and their resilience and their flexibility and adaptability. As you mentioned, this is, it's been something that took us all off guard, but I'm pleased every single day with the way that everybody's responding to this. So I'm looking forward to the Maple Grove Christmas concert next Tuesday.
Yeah. And Don, thank you for joining us. It was an absolute pleasure.
Great, thank you. I'm glad I had a chance to be on.
All right. So for Dr. John Samples, Dr. Don Non, my name is Nathan Meyer. Thank you for joining us, and have a safe and happy holiday. We'll see you all in 2021.
Happy holidays.